so let's get started for today. Thank you everyone for hopping into the live stream. I really appreciate you guys coming to these. And some of you have been leaving wonderful comments on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. I really appreciate all of the support and all of the wonderful supportive comments you guys have been leaving. I think I just said that, like, I just reiterated what I just said. But really, some of you guys are saying do these as long as you can, Istebrak. Some of you guys are saying that you're really learning a lot, and to still get these comments, it really means a lot to me. It's very motivational, and it shows me that my videos aren't just disappearing into the void of the internet, but they're actually helping some people. And that goes so far with me. Thank you guys for those. I really appreciate it. So let's get started on today's critique. I'm critiquing this art today, and I'm just giving my thoughts on it and how to make it appealing for a larger audience. I feel like it's appealing, it's nice, but it's got some things on it that are a little bit uncanny. But before I do, my channel, actually let me drink some water. 1 second. I haven't drank water properly all day. Okay, so before I get started, there's a challenge on my Discord and on my subreddit. To get to my subreddit, to upload your art on my subreddit so that it can be seen here on my videos, to get critiques, these critiques are free. All you have to do is go to my subreddit, and it's istebrak.com, and then you click on the subreddit icon right here. And this is where you'll find all of the art posted. And right here at the top, I have a little announcement. There is another art design challenge, and it is floral. It's like the floral humanoid challenge, but it's floral creatures. And you basically pick one flower, one real flower we know in our world. We know it, we've studied it, we know its benefits, we know what it does, and if it's poisonous, what its colors are, its different look and how it blooms, how it is. Like, we know so much about flowers, and I feel like it's kind of an untapped pool of inspiration for creature design. So why not combine the two themes? These are just some of my flowers, some of my favorite flowers here. And imagine just turning these into a creature. Imagine adding a set of eyes somewhere, a set of legs, a tail. How would you do that? How would you take these parts and combine them into a magical floral creature? So a couple of challenges ago, we did this as floral humanoids. We made humanoid beings out of flowers, which is so cool. You guys can watch that whole series on my design challenge playlist on YouTube. But like, look at these. These are so cool. Can you imagine where you would place the set of eyes, how you would design the creature, how the creature would look, how it would behave? There are so many really, really cool combinations. And I feel like making a whole like series of these. There's like 50 of them. And imagine it as a game. Imagine a game with these types of creatures, and they all need different things to make them bloom. Oh, so cool. And like the creature looks different when it's a baby versus when it's a juvenile or whatever, and then when it's a little bit larger and an adult, you get to see it bloom. Maybe the mane is the bloom, and it blooms, and the whole mane opens up the way the flower does. Maybe it evolves like a Pokemon. It has a different look every time it gets bigger. So yeah, just think of them as flower Pokemon, basically, which is really, really fun. The winners of the challenge get 2 portfolio review sessions with me for free on Discord. I look through your whole gallery, and we break down your skills, find out what's going on with your skill level and how to get it moving forward where you want it to be. You get to ask questions, 2 of those sessions for free. You get my masterclass for free. You get Portrait Studio for free. Anything you want off my store, basically. And yeah, that might be something good for you to try, this challenge. It might give you a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of a kick to kind of get going if you feel like you're in a rut artistically. It might be really fun, kind of, if you're a Pokemon fan, it might be fun tapping into that world and creating your own flower type creature. Might be really fun for you. So give it a shot. Go to my website, go to istebrak.com, click on the subreddit icon. That'll take you here. And there's also this link, which I posted at the top of the Discord channel. To join my Discord, just click on the Discord. That'll take you to my public free Discord. This is separate from my Patreon Discord, where my patrons are. But that'll take you to my Discord, and you can join. And there's a link that I posted here of all of the coolest flowers. Look at these. Like, you can see these flowers as all kinds of creatures. Look at that. Looks like a freaking white bird. Like, how did it evolve to look like this? I don't know. Look at this beautiful lotus. You can see how you might turn the lotus petals into the legs of the creature. This might be the cutest little lion type creature with the big mane, looking like a dahlia, so like a dahlia lion. Wouldn't that be so cool? And like two little beady eyes sticking out. This might be really cool. This might be the tail of the creature, and the creature's actually really small. This cool rose flower here. This color, this might be like fur, but it's just lavender all around the creature. These are really basic ideas. Please feel free to use them as I throw them out. This one's pretty obvious. It looks like a lion's mane, but you can turn it into all kinds of really, really cool renditions of what you believe is a lion. There's nothing wrong with starting with a basic creature and going from there. So you can always go that route. It doesn't have to be a super unique creature and a super unique design. The winner is picked off basically their effort and their attempt to really dive into this challenge. It's not about who drew the best drawing. And this is so cool. The colors seem so dark, so poisonous. You can go for dark themes. You can go for horror themed creatures. They don't have to be cute. There's so many amazing, cool flowers here. Like, look at this. I love the bulkiness of this flower. I love the bulk shape, the bulk color. It's so uniform. It looks so heavy. It looks like such a heavy flower. The thick petal, the bold colors. It's just so beautiful. This is the standard rose. I love roses. I love the way the petal kind of works. It might be a bit more difficult to render, but I can see this used as some kind of armadillo style armor. I think I mentioned that last time as well. This is really cool. I'm thinking like a giraffe's neck, and it's all delphinium flower, and you have just like a little bit of a snout sticking out somewhere. This is so pretty. It just looks like a dress. I love this flower. And I could go on and on. This list is really long. You can find some pretty cool flowers here. Do some research on them. What are these flowers known for? What are they used for medicinally? How can that help you design your little Pokemon creature? Really, really great portfolio pieces as well to show that you have this creature design prowess and this ability to turn such cool concepts into functional designs. That's always a plus in your portfolio. So let's get started on today's critique. What's bothering me about it? What is it exactly? Well, it's how realistic you tried to be. You're trying to do too much as well, so it's really confusing. So you have this like manga style background with the line art, and this purple. We see none of this purple anywhere on the character. Like, if this dress was purple, it would make everything very different. This would be very different. If this dress was just somewhat more purple, we could use some of that purple. If there was some purple in her cheeks, right? We could use some of that. If there was a little less yellow, because purple and yellow are really intense. If this scarf on the teddy bear was a little bit more on the, it's red, but a little bit more on the cool side, it would make a lot of sense. But you didn't do any of that. It's just two completely different color modes and temperatures battling for the focal point. And then you really just like pulled out all your tricks and all your patience for these teeth. You don't need to show that much detail in the teeth unless you want us looking only at the teeth. We're going to look at the teeth like this. And it's going to distract from the point, which is the eyes. And then this character is smiling a big smile, but their eyes don't seem to squint. So let me ask you something, just directly. What would you do if somebody smiled at you, but their eyes didn't show any expression? How do you feel about that? Like, how does that make you feel? Does that make you feel comfortable? Is it a comfortable feeling looking at that? It has a soulless look of a Titan, which to be fair could be a style choice. Yeah, like Attack on Titan. So let's take a look at that. Attack on Titan. Monster. Monster that ate his mom at the start. That creepy monster. So I guess there's a couple to choose from. So like you see this look in the eyes, and I'm going to talk about this in a second. Big smile, lots of teeth, and then the look in the eyes just seems, you're right, Oleg. Very, 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 very true observation there. The eyes always seem to not be doing what the mouth is doing. This is really scary shit. This is why I stopped watching this anime. God, I fucking hate this anime. It's not because it's bad. It's because it just gives me the fucking creeps, man. Imagine getting chewed alive. Anyway, so that's kind of what I mean. The eyes, they do this. Usually when someone smiles, all right, let's just take a look at the basics of someone smiling as an emoji. So if you thought of things as an emoji, it makes things really simple. So this person's got eyes that look like this, right? Oops, oops. So I haven't done line art in a while, so my lines are rusty. Okay, and they have their nose is fully outlined, and they're smiling, right? Maybe, okay, that's deliberately being creepy. Maybe let's just do a smile like this. The eye is fully filled in, and there's teeth, smiling. This is automatic creepy. This is gonna look creepy. How do we uncreepify it on the emoji style rendition level? How do we make it a little less creepy? We add a little bit of a squint to the eyes. We get rid of the teeth and do a generalization of the teeth. You know, doesn't have to be super, super duper. And then we can shrink the eyes a little bit. So they're a little bit less gigantic. And we can reduce the size of the iris. And then maybe just provide some extra anatomy so the eye doesn't look like it's wide open. So that looks like a genuine smile, just an average character, add some eyebrows, compared to where it looked before, like this. Okay, which of these is creepy and which of these is not? You tapped into all of these elements and you made it realistic. You made the features realistic. Do you see the creepiness factor now? Do you guys understand what I mean? So the first thing to do is get rid of the extra detail in the teeth. Like, we really don't need them. And I think you're at that point in your art skill where you need to start holding back some of your detailing skills. You're suffering from success right now, basically. You don't need to do this much. You don't need to go this hard. Okay? And so all you got to do when it comes to teeth is just darken the lower teeth, since they're under, for this character anyway. Okay? Maybe, yeah, show a couple of those front details and make the teeth disappear into the shadow a little bit more. They also don't need to be pure white. They can be just a little bit off-white. And there's also the fact that the lower lips are not covering the bottom teeth. You know, it just feels like a really, really intense smile. I don't think she should be smiling this big. When I smile and I pull my cheeks all the way back, right, and I'm smiling, so I'm smiling right now. You can hear it. I don't feel like the lower teeth. I have to do this and smile like Esqueleto from Nacho Libre to be able to smile with my bottom teeth showing. Everybody smile and try to force your bottom teeth out. Does it work? Some people's it works, but it looks natural. It feels like her bottom teeth should not be visible. Testing out the experiment yourself. Yes, extra, exactly. Testing out the action or the gesture or the smile yourself will make it a little bit easier to understand where the mistake is coming from. But yeah, don't smile there, your teeth sticking out, because then it's just gonna look like you're gonna look like that one horror guy with no lips. Who's that one horror guy with no lips? And these lips don't look like a kid's lips. They look like the femme fatale of a film noir lips, you know? They look like a 1950s glamour queen lips. They look very over-defined. They look very overly shaped. They don't look like natural young characters' lips. I mean, even her teeth, they look too perfect. So let's soften that edge up a little bit so it doesn't look like she's wearing Lancome lip liner in the color Seduction. Let's soften things up a little bit so they kind of make sense. All right, so we're just softening the edge of the lips. So it's just, you know, it's just softness, general presence. The top lip should be dark as well. All right, now it looks like a gentle little kid smile. And then also there is absolutely quasi-tubly no dark spot on the edge of the lips. Why? What happened to that? But she's smiling. So where is that extra folding of skin? Not every set of lips has it, but you really need it in this one because you need to show at least some of it, some quality to it, some presence of it. Lips are opening all the way out. She's smiling completely, and it doesn't feel right to just end them off at the edge like that. That's not natural. So let's give her some of that. Hi, Benny. It's always great to see you. And okay, so I'm just giving her some of those lip corners. And that's going to help us make the lip look a little bit more realistic. I'm going to blend around just so it doesn't feel unusual. And I don't want them to feel like extreme laugh lines, but I also want to add a little bit of that folding that happens around the lips. So see, they feel a lot more natural, a lot more gradual, and they're not in your face. Okay, so let's take a look at the changes just with the set of lips, all right? Hi, Pencil. Hi, Trent. Just with the change of the mouth, let's take a look at the before and after. Before, after. Please, please, please pay attention to this before and after. Before, after. Before, after. You may think that you miss all that extra detail, you as the artist. You're the artist who drew this, you miss it. Of course, you put work into it. We, the audience, we don't miss it. We don't miss that detail. We don't care. It was more information than we needed. And I've noticed you, particularly you, this artist who posts regularly on the subreddit, you always provide way more information than the viewer needs. You're really good at detailing, and so you've kind of taken that and ran with it, and you ran too far with it. We don't need that much. And in providing all this detail on the teeth, you didn't even give us a shadow for that space under the mouth. Sublabial cavity, or I don't know what someone called it once. I hate that word. And I'm just cleaning up. So what's the point here? What's this Istebrak? What's your problem, Istebrak? Why are you doing it? Why do you do this? Why did you decide to do this in life? My problem is that I want your art to get better. All right. That's it. That's all it is. I want you guys to have a good time, get your money, get paid, and not have somebody say your art looks creepy. I don't want anybody to say your art looks bad, because I've been on the receiving end of that when I had no training and no resources, and it sucked. And so I decided I'm going to make a channel and teach you guys how not to make creepy stuff and disproportionate stuff and bad perspective and bad anatomy and everything else I know. And that's it. That's all she wrote. Like that's why I'm doing this. Just because no one's really talking about this. No one's really making videos directly about this stuff that you guys do, that nobody really stops and says, hey, you guys are doing this wrong. Everyone's always too worried about hurting you guys' feelings. And I know it'll hurt your feelings way more to have a rando say your art looks creepy than have a teacher say you're using the wrong expression here. You're using the wrong tools. So remember, I'm not here to bash you. I'm not here to make your lives harder or make fun of you. Everyone posts the work on my channel because they know I'm not here bullying my way through my channel. I'm not really doing this for profit or anything. I'm doing this simply because no artist should be learning how to draw by themselves. And this is one of those things that's, how do you explain this without, while being delicate? It's hard. So I'm just trying my best to keep your detail intact while also introducing these changes, which is really, really not that easy. You have a lot of detail, friend. And so I'm just trying to make sure that I'm keeping it all here. Hello, Lai channel. Wasn't that a weird album? No running with scissors? And I'm just adding a shadow of the upper lip. Here. And you can see that the lips are starting to look a little bit more cute, a little bit more digestible, let's say. So I'm going to get rid of this extra line you have on the cheek. And I'm trying to bring some of that squint up into the mouth. But before I do, your shadows are a little bit offset. You have a lot of shadow under the hair, but you have no shadow on the lower half of the face. The lower half of the face is simply glowing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a shadow on the lower half of the face, and I'm going to use that to kind of get rid of this super glow you have everywhere. So I used this, a local pink color I found. And then I'm just adding a little bit of bounce light. You needed a coarse shadow on the lower half of the face. It was way too bright. It looked like she had a white beard, like she just dunked her face, half her face in some flour. Do you see what I'm saying now that I'm pointing it out? It was just too bright, right? And sometimes when it comes to contrast, you don't notice until someone points it out. It really is like that. I think we're in such a position that we would be able to see her nostrils. So why not just throw them in? For someone doing so much detail, you really just ignored the nostril holes. Maybe you're working from a reference and we don't see them. But it feels like we should be able to see some of them. And so I'm going to shape out the shape of the nostril first. There's a nice general shape. Like, voila. And like that. And then I'm going to get my smudge tool and smudge the lower half of the nostril hole. Only the lower half, not the top half, nothing else. So that we can see that proper shape. And I'm going to use that same thing to try to estimate some general presence of a shadow. So you had some kind of light coming in from the lower half. I think that added the creepiness factor, that raised it up a little bit. Light coming up from the lower half of the scene. So light shooting up at the face, right? light pointing up at the face, canceling out the nose shadow. What does that make you feel as the audience? Does anyone want to take an answer? Take a guess? Does that create the feeling of what? I see before. I accidentally did it before and after, but let's just test it. I'm good, thank you. At first I thought it was a Princess Peach. Excuse me. But I don't know because that art was blonde and blue-eyed. Yes. Light from below, yes. Light coming from below. What does that invoke? It invokes the feeling of horror. It invokes the horror show feeling, the scary thing, the light, the flashlight pointing up at you. Sorry, the found footage, the creepy flashlight at the monster. Like, it feels very, very reminiscent of that. And so you're doing that, and you're doing these teeth. Ah! Do you see what I'm saying? The cuteness is overlapped with a sense of horror. So it seems like one of the dolls that they'll find in The Conjuring or something. You know, it's cute. You know, at one point it was cute, but, you know, a demon possessed it, and then it got all this extra detail we didn't need. All this uncanny detail. Speaking of godless uncanniness, godless levels of uncanniness. This is the most horrifying thing I have ever seen. Who okayed this? Who is the godless son of a bitch that okayed this? Why? It's so inconsistent with the rest of the movie's designs. And even these are a little bit uncanny. They tried to go too realistic. Why? Why'd you give him real warm skin? Why'd you give him warm skin? Why'd you give him acne? Why'd you give him pores? Why'd you give him hair follicles? It's a fucking cartoon. You took 2 pixels and you added realistic skin to it. How did you make 2 pixels? The 2 pixels that Minecraft is, basically. How did you make 2 pixels this really? You have redefined Uncanny Valley. You have taken the uncanny Homer Simpson and you said, hey, watch this. Hold my beer. Watch this. Why? Who are you? I'd love to talk to you. The artist behind this. Why? Why did you give us this abomination? Who approved of this? So this is Uncanny Valley. When you add realism to things that are not realistic. We have, not cartoony, but we can see the oversized eyes. You're pulling from anime. You're pulling from some kind of extra, you know, big irises, big colorful, kind of like the pretty world, the pretty things, the pretty exaggerated features, almost like Tim Burton level eye size, that one Lady Gaga video, and you've given it pure realism. You've given us every tooth, just like they gave us every single hair of the eyebrow, right? Way too intense, way too intense. The sad thing, the artist is probably really talented, but they were forced to do it this way. Creepy, but the effect of Uncanny Valley. Between realism and simplicity. Exactly. It looks like he was hit by a brick and it stayed. Yeah. What we want to do here is just cancel out all the extra detail. Start looking at anywhere we have that excessive detail again. So right here along the eyelids look a little bit floppy. And the reason that looks uncanny is because when you're younger, your skin has got all the collagen that you need. All the collagen that you need. So you don't have any loose looking eyelids. As you get older, eyelids look a little bit looser. So make sure that curve of the eyelid, it seems like it's not, you know, sagging skin, basically. It's like a missing little detail, hard to notice. And I'm going to get rid of the extra wrinkly wrinkles here on the inside of the eye and all this extra outline too. And I'm adding a little bit of that brightness on the inside. And this kind of excessive outline you have on the nostril edge, I'm softening that up. And then finally, remember that drawing I did at the start? Well, I'm going to make the eyes squint a little bit more. But yeah, that Minecraft movie design was, oh gosh, oh gosh. I couldn't believe what I was looking. I was like, whoa! Like when it first appeared on the screen, I couldn't believe my eyes. It was so uncomfortable to look at. And I think they've set a new standard of uncanny here in this fun little art world of ours. Okay, so the skin looks nice and smooth. The eyelids look okay. Let's adjust the eyes so that they look like they're not spaced out, that they're actually responding to this expression. So, oopsie. So let's filter, liquify. So this smile is expanding, pushing the eyes into a slight squint. So that means we have a straighter lower eyelid. Write that back to me. A squint means a straighter lower eyelid. Doesn't mean a curved one or a pretty shapely one. Yeah, girl, don't even worry about it. I just thought people should know because notch is awful like that. What is notch? What is this notch you're referring to? Yeah, I don't know these new little terms. All right, so I'm squinting the eyes and I'm pulling them in. And you guys always overcurve your lower eyelids, always. And I want to make her look like she's looking at us. She's smiling. She's not smiling while completely zoned out because that's just like, I don't know, it's nearing insanity. Like if I was drawing an insane character, I would, and they were supposed to be smiling a lot, I would kind of make them not look like they're focused directly. Over-focused is creepy. Under-focused is creepy. Anything that's not quite human is going to look uncanny. And you were just entering that uncanny valley very, very, very much. And then I'm going to add a bit of a lower eyelid shadow. Just here where we have that squint. As I shrink my brush, I add more paint. So I feel like I'm still pulling from your world. I haven't changed your character that much. But I have taken away the Minecraft guy. Or a quality of his presence. His spirit still haunts us. You have all of these shadows for the cast shadow. That's not how it works. We don't need a cast shadow for every single little hair. We just need a generalization, a generalized presence of the shadow. And I'm just kind of trying to do less little hair bumps and little hair things. And just keep it one or two lines for the hair cast shadow, but nothing else really. And this nostril needs a bit more shape to it. So I added just a slight little shape to the tip of the nose. And I'm softening that up a little. So I'm trying to keep it your style. Again, it's hard to critique between all the styles that are presented to me in classes. But I try to stay true to them. I'm going to add a little bounce light line under the nose. And Then I'm going to adjust the mouth so it looks like it's attached to the face. Right now the mouth looks like it's a sticker. Doesn't look like it's three-dimensional or in perspective. I'm also going to make the mouth a little less symmetrical with the camera. Before, after. It's a little more three-dimensional. Can you see this difference? This is a very slight difference, but it looks three-quarter view now, right? Anyways, so before, after. And then what we're going to do is, I don't want to change the eyes too much since it's a style choice of yours. Let me just adjust this here. And make the face three-quarter view as well. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to make the chin three-quarter view. I don't want to change the eyes too much, but I will give them a bit of like a shadow for the lower lash instead of a line. So I'm just going to like let some brush strokes be not quite good aim. Let the brushes like overlap. Let them get a little bit messier. We don't want a perfect line. And then I'm going to get my smudge brush and let it kind of have its day. And just letting it hover around that. Okay. And then I'm going to use some pink for the waterline. Really, really important trick to make sure that the face does not look, or the eyes don't look fake. Because again, we're fighting this look of fakeness in things. We're trying to pull away from the excessive detail and that uncanny valley and the general fake look everything has. We want to make things look natural. And then make sure the inner corners are all symmetrical here. Okay. And now we have detail where we need it around the eyes and not where we need it around the mouth. All right, and then I zoom out and I can see, we can use a little bit more shadow on the lower eyelid line. We can use a bit more of that squint there. Just a little. And maybe a little bit more of that highlight you added for the lower eyelid. Oops. So when you zoom out, the painting is different. Write that back to me. It's a different painting when you zoom out. It's a different painting when you zoom out. Meaning that what you thought you were looking at, you zoom out, that's all changed. You get a real idea of the weight of your brush strokes in the last hour that you've been painting zoomed in. Always zoom out to interrupt your tunnel vision so that you know you're painting what you're painting and your painting knows you're painting it. And no one's confused and no one's, you know, in a different dimension and everyone's just happy and everyone knows what they want. It's like being in a one-sided relationship. You thought everything was going good and then you zoom out and you're like, wow, like I thought we had something. But really, your painting hated you. Didn't like your taste in music. It was not a good relationship. Always zoom out. Okay. And so I still have issues with these over outlined eyes. It's just not feeling too good. So I'm just going to just clean up here. All right, now for the hair. The hair is over detailed as well. And so I'm going to blend every other section of detail. So detail, relief, detail, relief. We don't need max detail every single time. Detail, relief. Relief means giving the eyes a rest. You provide the eyes with too much detail, the audience gets stars in their eyes and they go like, ooh, and they get all dizzy and they look away from your painting because it's not comfortable to look at. Viewers look at comfortable paintings. Comfortable paintings have good composition, good line of sight, good detail balance, Make your paintings comfortable for your viewers. Don't over provide detail. Write that down. And honestly, this background is just not working. Either change the color or pick something else. Like this color really is not working. Maybe if you warmed up the color, like is this working? Maybe let's try a swatch. Maybe if you warmed up the color to be here instead of purple, more of a warm tone to reflect her values that she's wearing, or maybe just grayscale it. Maybe just make it gray all the way through. Actually, that pastel tone might work. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I can see why you wanted it a color. Yeah, I think just warming up the background. Let me see if I can lasso this, which is most likely not going to be happening. But yeah. Okay. And camera. And I'm going to lasso this side. And almost done. And then I'll show you guys the full before and after, and then you'll see what I mean by uncanniness. So all I'm doing is just shifting things over into a warm tone. Ooh la la, look at that. Everything's matching. Everything is just working in the same, with the same idea. And then I'm also going to maybe darken it a little bit just so it's out of the way. It's not just trying to hog the stage. But also, like, there's nothing wrong with just this, or a basic color like a sky blue. All of that is nice as well. You really don't need that excessive background. It's like you're biting more than you can chew every single chance you get. You particularly, you artist that did this. But it is what it is. All I wanted to do is just improve what you already have. I don't want to repaint the painting. I just want to improve what you've got going on in there. So, before, after. Before, take it in, after. Not chewing too much, biting too much. Skyness Engine. I believe you're the artist, yes? Yep. Yeah. So before, way too much detail. The light is a little bit off. The nose is tilted away from the camera, even though the head is tilted up from the camera. How does that, like the nose is tilting down, so the camera is higher than the nose, but the camera is also lower than the head, right? That doesn't make any sense. The eyes not looking in the same direction. The eyes not squinting. The skin being very bumpy and too many things going on. You got this scratch, you got this cast shadow, you got this line. I don't know if this is the cast shadow. Way too many cast shadows. Enough with the cast shadows. It's okay. You don't need that many. The cast shadows are too sharp. Cast shadows are blurry. Write that down, okay? Cast shadows are blurry. And then after we softened the skin, we made the nose the same perspective as the head. We softened the mouth, got rid of the lower teeth. I don't know if you were here for that, but when you smile and you're just kind of pulling your cheeks out, right? Your bottom teeth don't show as much. But I have an overbite, so maybe that's because that's how my mouth works. But you really got to try to get both of your teeth showing when you smile. Do you know what I'm saying? So let's not show her bottom teeth, especially if it's way more teeth than we need. And yeah, so I think it's best to start pulling back. All right, start relaxing a little bit. Okay, Skyness, just relax. Take a deep breath. I am over detailing. I am giving too much detail. I need to find a balance between no detail and rest, and positive space and detail. No detail is negative space. Every painting needs a good amount of negative space. The mouth of the model showed the teeth, by the way, though. I see. But I need to. I would like to see the reference that you use. That would be great. But all I know is the before and after have a nice difference. Sometimes what happens in a photo should not happen as a painting. Write that down. That's a huge, huge thing you learn. You get shocked, really. You're like, wow, I thought photos were like the goal. Everybody, wants to paint like a photo, but no, 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 no. Sometimes the things a photo gets away with, a painting will not get away with. It's just too uncanny. So you have to accept some stuff from the photo and reject some. And what you reject is based off what you know, your experience as an artist, or you just watch my videos and I tell you what to reject. Reject excessive detail, reject teeth detail, reject nostril hairs, reject most of the poor detail unless you're doing some kind of photorealism or super close up. We don't need any of those things to create a perfectly cute painting, a perfectly acceptable drawing. We don't need any of those excessive things. We just need something that is out of the way, just gentle enough with the detail that we have what we need. It's realistic enough, but it's not trying to be a photo. Because when something tries to be a photo, what happens? This happens. This monstrosity, this abomination, blasphemy, curse upon you, curse upon you. And it's because they tried to turn this 2 pixels, 1 pixel, maybe, like, I don't know, into skin. And when you try to do that, it doesn't work. So adding too much realism, too many teeth detail, too many teeth, too much teeth detail, too many eye wrinkles, you start picking up from the same uncanny valley. The uncanny valley will haunt artists until doomsday. It will always be a threat because artists want to paint things realistically, but they're not sure where to stop. Um, and yo, don't be mean to my man. Your man, I hope he has a good personality. I hope he has a nice personality, okay? That's all I'm going to say to you, Flynn. I know you're with him for his personality. Anyway, thank you guys for watching today. Before, after. I really appreciate you guys coming out to the live stream. If you guys want to submit work for critique, where are my links? All you got to do is go to istebrak.com and click on the subreddit icon right here. That'll take you to the subreddit where you can submit your work for critique. I talked for like 10 minutes about the challenge. I'm not going to bore you guys with that again. Please consider joining us for our floral creature design challenge. Basically, you're just drawing floral Pokemon. And it will be due sometime mid-June, end of June, early July, somewhere midsummer. We will be celebrating the flower ceremony. That sounded ominous. I will see you guys next time. Thank you all for coming today. Bye, guys.